the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This time I'm with AVNation, taking a look at the fourth quarter in the AV industry. I'm your host for the day. Today we're going to talk with an old buddy of mine, Mr. Clint Hoffman from Kramer. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Tim. Glad to be here with you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Clint lives in the backyard of my favorite coffee in the whole wide world, called Rook, over in New Jersey.
Right.
Not going to talk about coffee today, although I would all day. Clint, let's talk about something for a second. We're getting into the fourth quarter of 21, which is kind of the whole idea here is we're taking a temperature of manufacturers and see where they're headed and where their customers are headed. Talk for a second about the pandemic and how that has put an emphasis on the collaboration products and the UC space as far as Kramer's concerned.
Okay. So the pandemic clearly changed the dynamics of the market with all the folks that had to go and work from home and all the schools where they had to have either completely a virtual experience or a combination of in-class and virtual. And I think that combination of in-class and virtual will have some degree of staying power within the education marketplace. And I think more people will work at home and than they have in the past. I think it's changed the way we do business. At Kramer, we've actually come up with an expression for it. We call it Generation H, or hybrid generation. And it's driving some of our product development, that fact. Having the wireless presentation devices and the UC devices and the cameras and the microphones. These are the important things. Anything USB, because that was a big outcome from the pandemic. That single point of connection that will operate with anything. Those are all really, really important things now, and they are now the foundation of our product development effort or roadmap.
You mentioned it kind of drove product development. Talk for a second, if folks aren't familiar from the manufacturing side, what does a product development cycle look like? It's not like, Clint Hoffman wakes up on a Monday morning and goes, you know what, guys, I got an idea, and by Friday you're shipping product. What does that cycle look like?
It's a typical product cycle for a manufacturer is about a year and a half. Okay. You conceive that something that you think will serve the market, and if it doesn't already exist somewhere where you can just go get it and put your name on it or OEM it, which is one path, then you're going to start to do an MRD, which is basically what should be in there, or the marketing requirements document. What should it do? What should it look like? What connector should it have? Where should they be located? Once you've got that defined and agreed to by everybody important in the organization, then you start to do the basic design, go build that thing. By the time you do that, test it, queue it, V&V, all that stuff, it's a year and a half before you have something to actually ship into the marketplace.
All right. Something Kramer has been working on for a number of years. You guys have really kind of put a whole lot of resources, and that's control. I want you to talk for a second, not just about Kramer Control, but the control ecosystem as you see it in the market. What has the pandemic done to certain aspects of control that may have been nice to have or, kind of ancillary, but that now are deemed as critical to a control system?
Well, I think two things I'll mention. One is kind of obvious, the ability to do voice commands, I think, is going to become more and more important. Touchless was really important for a while. It's going to be convenient going forward. But, and this is incredibly self-serving, but one of the other things is the ability to work on the client's system remotely without having to roll a truck to the site. God forbid you sold it to somebody in California and you're in New Jersey. Now you got to put somebody on a plane or find a brother integrator who can send somebody over and charge you for it. But with our control solution, it lives in the cloud and it's cloud-based. So you can, if you've got internet access anywhere in the world, and permission, you can get into the client's system, check its health and welfare, add a new device, change a button, whatever you need to do remotely.
That remote management is becoming even more and more crucial. I 100% agree with you on that, regardless of what platform you're using. The ability to get in and get out number one, without rolling a truck, right? So
Right.
that saves the integrator, but also saves the client money. But it also is a health and safety issue because your techs, your technicians do not have to go on site at all.
Correct.
Absolutely. Something that we really haven't talked about in about 18 months because we haven't been to a trade show, and that's AV over IP. Kind of give us a sense of a temperature check of where you think we are with that technology and that discussion.
Well, I'm only one person and I have one perspective from my chair, but we were seeing a movement towards AV over IP. It was a little more gradual than some of us thought it would be. It kind of stalled because a lot of that, central switching in the building, corporate stuff was put on hold. So it's kind of stalled, but I suspect when things start getting even more back to normal, it's going to pick back up. If you look at emergency operations centers as just one specific area, they are more and more and more going to an AV over IP backbone instead of a dedicated signal flow backbone like a traditional router.
Yeah. Clint, I had the opportunity to sit down with Avixa CEO Dave Labuskas, ask a couple questions about health and safety, about their plans for InfoComm 2021. Kind of going to want to wrap up here asking you the same thing. Kramer is currently scheduled to exhibit. You guys have got a good sized booth there towards the front. Give me like one or two reasons or one or two key points here that you guys are looking forward to in Orlando, connecting with both consultants, integrators, but also with tech managers.
Understood. We understand that we're not completely out of this craziness, this once in a lifetime thing. But that being said, with all the safety protocols that Avixa is putting in place for the InfoComm show, we are going to be there. We are going to have a presence, and anyone who feels comfortable coming down there, we are so very much looking forward to meeting them in person with our masks on and having a conversation within 6 feet of each other, actually 6 feet or more apart from each other, about the new Kramer, because Kramer has gone through a significant change since February. Dr. Kramer did retire, and we were acquired by a private equity company, and we have a whole new roadmap, which we discussed before, that is just 100% entirely new, and we're on a path to some very special things. We'd like to talk to our valued partners, consultants about that.
All right, very good. Clint, you guys are in 3101. 3101 is the booth number. Your booth in the past has been a kind of a really good example and a broad brush of all the things that Kramer has to offer. Over the years, you've developed audio products. Obviously, you have video distribution products, in addition to control, which we just talked about. We walk into that booth. What exactly are we going to find, and what is it that you want the AV community to walk away with that booth?
I think the primary thing you're going to find is that we're growing more and more from being a box supplier, a box company, to a solutions provider. And along those lines, you're also going to see that there's going to be probably at least 3 significant industry partnerships announced in that booth as well.
Excellent.
So we're working towards solutions. We're working towards working with other important companies to provide solutions that benefit both integrators and partners and end users.
All right, Clint Hoffman from Kramer. If somebody is going and wants to connect with you beforehand, or they're not going and they want to follow along with everything that you'll be talking about, how do they do that?
Well, you can visit our website at www.kramerav.com. So absolutely do that. I'm at choffman@kramerav.com if you want to write to me directly. And if you need a free pass, we have those too, and we would love to sponsor you to go to the show.
All right, very good. Clint Hoffman from Kramer Electronics. Thank you so much, sir. For us, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. And follow along as we also head to Orlando, Florida, the 27th through the 29th of October for InfoComm 2021. All that and more at avnation.tv.